Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. To start things off, Bitcoin markets, whatever, remain paralyzed and have been paralyzed for almost 8 weeks. That's a weird way of saying it. With all live streams, volatility cut from the main source. The largest cryptocurrency has remained motionless until a breakout was confirmed on Tuesday, coming from a position of volatility. After falling to a 2-year low, Bitcoin to the US dollar sprung up above several resistance zones, starting with 9,200. The upward leg continued above 9,230 as well as 9,300. Buyers have their eyes fixated on 10,400, but the momentum lost steam short of 9,500 at the time of writing. Bitcoin is trading at 93.85, give or take a couple of bucks. It depends on where you're actually looking for prices. Bulls are dealing with an increase in selling pressure. Resistance at the 50-day simple moving average is proving to be a hard nut to crack. That is a weird sentence. Here's the actual chart right here. You can maybe kind of ish-esque see it. Here's the trading range that we've been in since May. We are almost in August, and this is the little up in price that Bitcoin performed. I saw this happening last night and I refused to let myself get any type of excited because I have a very strange feeling where prices are heading. Technical indicators applied to the chart are gradually changing from the bullish picture in favor of consolidation. The relative strength index, for instance, has settled for a sideways action at 54.98, yada yada. Similarly, the moving average convergence divergence hints that consolidation would take precedence to allow buyers to gather strength once more for the impending breakout to 9,800. The indicator is clinging to the midline, emphasizing sideways action. There are a lot of articles floating around right now, and we've seen them as well over the last 2, 3, 4 days-ish. Around that time frame, I'm sure you remember, for those of you not looking at the screen, as a reminder, it says, is Bitcoin getting ready for a massive price surge? When this movement, boop, right here happened last night, everyone completely lost their minds because we had moved out of the trading range and therefore something amazing was about to happen. Part of the issue that I saw and that I've seen before and that many of you have heard me talk about before was that the moment, not a minute later, the actual moment that Bitcoin had moved out of this tight trading triangular range, the articles popping up saying that Bitcoin's price was overvalued, Bitcoin's price was going to fall if Bitcoin does surge or had already begun to start surging, that it was going to fall back down in favor of consolidation, in favor of this. There's accumulation period, there's more. It is just nonsensical at this point. I see a lot of people I've seen for, it's been decades now, in the comment section, people telling me that it is either layers of fundamentals or technical analysis, which they say I simply do not understand. It is because none of this makes sense, but we're not going to get into that because I've already ranted about that the last couple of videos. As it stands right now, world markets are continuing to go up. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ are doing just swimmingly, as is or are gold and silver. Even weirdly enough, I mean, really look into it. Real estate prices are also ticking upward, which also doesn't make a lot of sense. There are fewer people who are selling right now, which could then be a good indicator as to, scarcity in the market. But it actually has to do with a lot of people are not trying to sell right now because they don't want to go house hunting while 19 is going on. I tried to buy a place a couple of weeks ago. Lo and behold, the woman was like, nope, I'm sorry. I don't want to actually, because she was selling her place to go buy another place. And she's like, I can't go to any viewings. So, what we have, or what we are currently dealing with, is everyone has their engines revved up and running. Everyone's waiting to see what's going to happen. And everyone seemingly, I have seen very few articles, very few, if none at all, from the major technical analyzers from before, from the long ago, who kept on saying that Bitcoin was so and so. You know their names. I'm not going to say their names out loud, but the people who kept on saying that Bitcoin was going to fall back down, they've been extremely silent, quiet. And the best part is that if you actually look back at the things that they were saying about 2 months ago, their idea was that Bitcoin needed to consolidate and trend sideways for a while before any mega awesome crazy price movement going upward. But then the problem is that if you look at those articles from 2 months ago before they were saying the exact same thing, it's been this loop of Bitcoin has to go down before it can go up, and the Bitcoin finally goes up, and then they start releasing articles saying that Bitcoin is too high and that Bitcoin has to go back down. When Bitcoin does start to go back down, they say that Bitcoin is undervalued and Bitcoin has to go back up. It is this very weird loop-de-loop that they keep performing, and people keep listening to what they have to say. So who knows? The price could go up, the price could go down. I told all of you about a day or two before, I am thinking we are probably going to see a price downward movement. And I don't know if that's going to be something simply correlated or moving alongside stock markets and or real estate prices, where they go, well, Bitcoin simply had to fall down. And even if we don't get those movements in the actual markets, because, you know, the markets are being held up by trillions of dollars that have been printed by the US government, not to even mention the, I think the European Union also has a 1 trillion euro stimulus that's also going to be floating around in the... Anyway, I was going to talk about liquidity and stuff like that within the euro. But the point is, yes, Bitcoin's price moved up around $150, and now we're getting articles talking about passing by 9,800 or 10,400. I'm telling you, if we get to $9,994 and BitMEX or Coinbase crash, go down, systems not working once again, it's going to be bad. Trying to know what I'm gonna say. Anyway, that's news, and roughly tying it, because all the news is kind of tying into each other every single day now, because it's kind of the same momentum feeling, if you kind of want to say that. This one says, new analysis from the Liechtenstein-based crypto research report shows crypto whales are actively accumulating 3 altcoins as Bitcoin and Ethereum continue to consolidate. Demelza Hayes, a former cryptocurrency fund manager and Forbes 30 under 30 member, wow, good for them, says the decentralized finance tokens Lend, Ren, and Kyber network continue to see strong interest from crypto whales after posting significant gains over the past few months. They said in the past 30 days, the balance of top 100 KNC whales has grown by a total of 30.6 million. That's roughly $48.1 million at the time of writing. In the same time frame, the top 100 Lend whales accumulated around $10 million worth of Lend to their collective bags, with the top 100 Ren whales accumulating around $850,000 at the time of writing more to their holdings. Hayes says the increase in the balance of top 100 Lend, Ren, and KNC whales points to accumulation while indicating high investor optimism. It's not just whales who are driving the value of these 3 DeFi assets. Hayes explained that Lend, Rend, and KNC have also caught the attention of retail investors. Do you want to hear what I have to say? Do you want to hear what I actually think is actually going on? So remember the thing that we had before. What was the phrase that people were using? It was like not DeFi farming, yield farming. People are looking for ways to make money in the market right now. I told you this months ago that this would probably end up taking place. I didn't realize it would take place on this scale, but lo and behold, here we are. A lot of people are annoyed, frustrated, with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I guess to a larger extent, Litecoin and XRP, because the prices are simply not moving. If Bitcoin moves a smidge, they also move a smidge. If Bitcoin goes down a smidge, they also go down by around 5, 6, 7% more than Bitcoin actually moved. A lot of these coins are caught in a tight trading range, and it has nothing to do with the other coins being in a tight trading range. It has to do with Bitcoin being in a tight trading range, and other coins, especially those within the top 10, are usually magnetized to Bitcoin's price. So Over the last couple of months, we've received an enormous amount of articles talking about the new, amazing, fantastical world of DeFi. I've told you before, a lot of these coins, listen to my words, are probably going to be scams. We don't know exactly which one, but they will show themselves as they truly are in the coming months, I assume. So on top of this as well, you have a lot of people, a lot of the institutional investors, whales, if you want to call them that, who've been getting into the cryptocurrency space the last year or so, who have been looking for the massive monies. They want to make as much money as humanly possible so that they can either brag to their friends or brag to their family members, look how much more money I made than you inside of the stock market. And this has led to a very perplexing situation as 19 has ravaged the world and world markets seemingly don't make a lot of sense. And for some reason, while every other market is going up right now, cryptocurrencies within the top 10, Bitcoin, are trending completely sideways. There's not a lot of money to be made in a coin that is going sideways. You have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% movements, but you'll make a heck of a lot more money if you throw $1 million into another coin that you know in some way potentially how to manipulate its price and or drive its value up by 400% over the course of a 3-month period. What ends up happening is that other people who have gotten into the cryptocurrency space or even have been in the cryptocurrency space for quite a while start looking for other ways to make money, and they say Bitcoin's slow, Bitcoin's boring, Ethereum's tiring, I hate XRP, Litecoin is so-and-so, who's using EOS, what is a Tron? Hey, those 3 coins over there have been moving up for the last couple of months. Let me start looking into those coins. You also get the exact same movement from other cryptocurrency YouTubers who are more than happy to lead you along the path of coins that they themselves have no interest in, but probably purchased a couple of months ago and or a year ago in anticipation of these coins rising in price. And now that they know that they have around 60, 70, 80,000 people watching their channel, they can tell them these coins look like they're going to do well because they know that other people behind the scenes are also buying these coins as well. Do not think that for a second everyone is going to be genuine in that they're going to tell you coins that are actually going to have standing longevity. When I watch the other cryptocurrency channels, they tell people the coins that they are already holding that they think are going to be amazing. And I've seen this pattern before since I've been in the space. A lot of these coins are going to fall, implode, you will never hear from them again. However, that does not mean that in the next 6 to 12 months that you will not be able to make an enormous amount of money from them. Which coins? I don't know. It depends on which ones that the whales tend to boost. As a lot of these people, the whales, the institutional investors, have been looking to get into the cryptocurrency space, and Bitcoin and Ethereum have become relatively boring for them because they want to make more money. They've been pumping their money into these coins in mass because they know that these are the new ICO coins for 2020. These are the coins that are going to have all the money flow into them. And if they can get into these coins early enough and start to pump their prices, then they are essentially at the top of the pyramid. You understand everything that I'm saying? Well, I hope you do, because what's going to end up happening is these coins are going to continue to pump unless I waved my hands in the air, none of you can see me, unless Bitcoin does have some type of a monumental movement, whether it be down to 7,000 or streaking past $10,401 without Coinbase or BitMEX collapsing. These coins will continue to outperform Bitcoin, but at the expense of another massive bubble that we are going to be casually leading ourselves into. Because also on the other side of it, these movements, this momentum, this actual activity within the altcoin space does lead to it allows for bullish indicators for another bull market. Keep in mind that within the cryptocurrency space, all bull markets that we have, all of them, the mega super crazy bull run up, they are always bubbles. And I mean like big bubbles, not like a tiny bubble. They're gigantimous bubbles that eventually at some point pop. But it just turns out right now that someone is, or rather tons of people are blowing air into these bubbles. It says, is DeFi a massive bubble, or is it fairly valued? 2 valuation methods can help provide some answers, showing why protocols like Aave, I assume it's Aave, it's AAVE. What else could it be? It's not Aave. Aave and synthetics trading at a premium relative to MakerDAO. Investors and analysts are conflicted at how to value DeFi projects. However, this hasn't stopped them from running the numbers on a relative basis. Two valuation methods stand out: by balance sheet and total value locked, or by innovation and potential upside. Both valuation methods should be applied to all DeFi tokens on a relative basis. In light of the recent DeFi capitalization boom, there are a variety of contrasting opinions on whether DeFi is currently undervalued or overvalued. Some investors believe the smart move is to ride the momentum while it lasts. DeFi has hit an all-time high number of mentions and publications, becoming the 5th most mentioned crypto-related topic in June. This was said by Joshua Frank of analytics service The Tie. But investors are wary of parking their capital in assets that are already up hundreds of percent points in just a short few months. Crypto Briefing looked at Aave, Compound Maker, and Synthetics from a fundamental viewpoint, evaluating them against each other with a rolling market cap total value locked ratio. Now, so are these coins over? And I'll give you a realistic cryptocurrency perspective. Are these coins overvalued? Ness. That's no and yes put together. Are they going to go higher up in value? Absolutely. Are they probably going to? You have to understand. Just because, I don't know how to explain this. For some reason within the cryptocurrency space, and I guess maybe it's all markets in general, I'm deep dived into crypto, so I can't really speak for other markets. For some reason, cryptocurrencies, a lot of people within the crypto space are kind of like cats with something shiny. If you like flash it in front of their face long enough, like they'll really, oh my gosh, that's something brand new. I have to kind of get into it. These coins, a lot of them are incredibly overvalued. The same exact way that a lot of ICO projects, like there were ICOs raising 35 million, 75 million, 150 million, $4 billion. Do you need, what company has ever launched and been valued immediately at $4 billion? A lot of these things are incredibly overvalued. It even says valuing tokens is an art, not a science. It actually is a science because mathematics is a science, and you base it off it's just complete nonsense, this article. The point being, this momentum, this FOMOosity, not a word, is what's going to lead us into the next bull market. And I know it's absolutely terrible to say, but it just kind of is what it is. It's the fervor, it's the energy, it's the fear of missing out, it's the dumping your money into ridiculous projects that's going to get the market to start moving. What ends up always happening, always, and we will revisit this in 4.5, 5 years, because what's going to end up happening is the market's going to end up booming, completely exploding, and the prices will fall back down, and we'll have another lull period for a good 2 to 4 years, because that's just how the cryptocurrency market works. But this momentum is what gets us into that crazy portion. Tons of people are going to start, and already have. I can only imagine I've seen the bots in the comment section telling people what coins to buy, who they're working with, and how much money they've made from all these things. That's absolutely wonderful that you're a robot and you've made so much money from all of these projects, but it works on other people. People start putting their money into these projects. People start putting their money into these things. You give me 1, I'll give you back 10. And it causes enough money to flow into the market that a lot of other coins end up boosting up. When Bitcoin does eventually start moving upward, people will want to start to make money in Bitcoin as well, and this money will start sloshing back and forth all over the place. The amount of conversations that we're having, not even just me, you, I, us, everyone within the cryptocurrency space who are talking about DeFi tokens and how to value them. You can't value these things. Some of these things are like 8 weeks old. They don't have an actual value proposition. A lot of them are just being created similar to other coins that are other copies of other copies. The whole point of these coins is you buy these coins and then you lock it up and then we do something. Why are you locking the coins up? Well, the more coins that we lock up, the higher the value ends up going. What's your actual proposition? What are you being used for? DeFi. What kind of DeFi? Well, decentralized finance. People can make smart contracts on our platforms. How are you different from the other 45 other platforms who are doing the same? Well, we're DeFi and they're not DeFi. The conversations also people are having is that some of these DeFi projects are more decentralized than other projects. Shut up. It's the same exact thing that we had in 2015, 16, and 17 when all these other new coins were coming out. Ethereum, blah, 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 blah. These coins aren't decentralized. My coin's more decentralized. We have more nodes. We have more zones. A lot of these coins, poof, completely gone, vanished in the air. If you are going to put your money into these projects, or if you have already started putting your money into these projects, please be aware that you are probably putting yourself in a position where you are potentially going to lose a lot of money when a lot of these coins falter. This DeFi bump won't last forever, and it won't go on much further unless Bitcoin actually shoots up in price. I hope you all get that. What is this one? Yeah, another article. They're all talking about the exact same thing. It says, is the decentralized finance space in a bubble? What to consider? Yes, they're all technically in bubbles. They're tiny bubbles, but they're bubbles nonetheless. We haven't seen any of these companies. DeFi has been a thing for about a good year and a half. We're only heavily hearing about DeFi over the last 3 to 4 months, and everyone's dumping as much money as possible into these things in the hopes that one of these projects out of the 50 that we have right now may eventually become something big. That's all it is. So these are tiny bubbles that are not going to be popped. They're going to continue growing bigger, and it's going to lead us into a bull market. And then I mean a raging bull market, not like a Bitcoin going up by 7% month over month bull market, like one of the actual crazy ones. Are these bubbles? Absolutely. There are very few coins that are not actually in bubbles, that are actually undervalued. And I don't mean like $1 million undervalued. I mean like their prices should be at least double or triple where they currently are right now, because we know that they're actually being used. And I don't mean Coinbase adding a coin, Coinbase buying into that company who created the coin and then staking the coin for themselves as like an actual valuation for a coin. Imagine someone buying up an entire street and being like, oh yeah, this street is worth a lot now because I bought all of it. Anyway, that's the DeFi news. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more that I avoided when it comes to DeFi, because we're going to have this topic for quite a long amount of time. Try not to, I know it's difficult, try not to buy into the hype. You are going to have friends. You are going to have other friends who are investors and cryptocurrencies who are going to be making a lot of money from these projects. Find articles from 2017 and look up what BitConnect is. I mean, and there were even mimics of BitConnect in 2017 that many people didn't pay attention to because BitConnect got the most energy or attention. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, Chief Executive of Blockchain Explorer Blockchair, Nikita Tsarovokonov, predicts that Bitcoin is poised to lose its status as the top crypto asset. In a new Twitter thread, the Blockchair head explains why he believes Bitcoin's market dominance is about to fall off the cliff. He said, I have a strong feeling that this is the last time we see Bitcoin's dominance level above 66%. From this point on, it will fall, probably, resulting in Bitcoin losing its first place within the next 5 years. Long thread, 1 out of 20. Tsarovokonov highlights a number of technical factors that he says will hold Bitcoin back in the long run. The executive points out that privacy is not the top cryptocurrency's strongest suit, as its network allows blockchain analysis firms to track user activity, but they can do this on every blockchain now. They've mentioned this multiple other times before. The people from Chainalysis and many other companies have said that they can actually track transactions on Monero, Dash, and Zcash. Not the easiest thing, but they said if they want to do it, they can actually do it just fine. Users who wish to keep their transactions private can turn on a number of altcoins, including Monero, Dash, and Zcash. Yeah, no. We've had this news from actual U.S. government agencies and Chainalysis and the other company who's trying to beat Chainalysis, like their rival, if you will. They've said this many times before. They know how to crack these coins. Tsarovokonov also says Bitcoin scalability is another nail in the coffin. He says the Lightning Network, which is a second-layer solution designed to make it faster and more cost-effective to send Bitcoin, is fundamentally flawed. He points to Ethereum with its proof-of-stake protocol as one coin that can topple Bitcoin. Oh, okay. So we're back in 2016. Got it. He said, but over the years, the mantra has been, they were typically Litecoin, Namecoin. Oh, yeah. No one remembers Namecoin or Primecoin. For those of you who don't know, Primecoin was meant to be the new Bitcoin. But they've never been to the true competitors of Bitcoin, as they didn't really have any new features people needed, yada, yada. But not all crypto investors are buying Zarkarvanarv's argument. For some, I don't, having a migraine attack. A lot of people right now, I don't know how long this person, gentleman, sir, has been in the cryptocurrency space, but this is a discussion that we had many years ago. Maybe he's like a time traveler and he got lost. Maybe he's just on the wrong year. Maybe a lot of the people who are on Twitter and Reddit and the interwebs right now are simply, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and just say that they haven't been here for that long, because they simply are just mimicking things that people said a long time ago. Bitcoin's probably logically not going to leave the #1 spot anytime soon. And I don't mean because it's Bitcoin. I mean because of the actual adoption of Bitcoin itself. When I talk about actual adoption levels, and you can even look, I mean, as in its simplest form, look at the adoption of it by the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, by the banks around the world who are buying it. When you talk about the actual adoption of Bitcoin, as opposed to the actual adoption of BSV or Bcash or Litecoin or Namecoin or Tron or Cardano or this or that, these coins are not being bought up in mass by mega companies and mega corporations. Sure, they may be a fraction of their portfolio, but you may have to realize, I mean, just understand and realize that Bitcoin is Bitcoin, and it is the name of the entire cryptocurrency space. When you listen to actual hedge fund managers, when they are discussing which coins that they're getting into, they all say over and over, we are just buying Bitcoin because it is Bitcoin. You cannot replicate Bitcoin no matter how many times you try to fork it or create new ones or rename it something else or have a light version of it. When you have something first and you create a copy of it, the copy is still the copy. No matter how many coins come out that have 19 million coins, 4 million coins. Remember the coins last year? There was a coin that came out and I think it only had 1 million coins, and everyone was super hyped because it was so much rarer than Bitcoin. And I think off the bat, I think each coin was valued at around, was like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. And then eventually, after like 5 days later, it was completely gone. Remember all the other Bitcoin forks that also used Mimblewimble and all these other things that also tried to have private transactions? Do we hear about these coins anymore? No. They were very hyped up. They were very spoken about, but Bitcoin is going to remain Bitcoin. It has nothing to do with Bitcoin's private transactions, because Bitcoin is eventually going to have private transactions. It has nothing to do with the Lightning Network, because the Lightning Network is just one solution that other people have come up with to make Bitcoin have faster transactions. If you talk about the Lightning Network not having faster transactions right now, it's kind of like saying, well, the internet in 1992 was going way too slow. No one's ever going to adopt it. At some point, there's going to be something that makes Bitcoin faster, whether it be actual on-chain or second, third, fourth, fifth, 18th layer solution. It's going to end up happening. And please don't even think of looking to Ethereum's proof of stake protocol as something that could push Bitcoin aside, because they've been talking about that since 2016, and we still don't even have the first iteration, which I'm going to get into Ethereum in about half a second as well, and see the actual first iteration of Ethereum 2.0 phase 0. It's absolute nonsense. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It's going to remain Bitcoin. The core is going to remain slow. That's not going to change. We're going to have other layers that are going to help it. And even right now, if you actually really pay attention to the news and all the people who are buying up Bitcoin, all the millionaires and billionaires who are discussing Bitcoin's actual use case, they're talking about it as digital gold. They're buying it as digital gold, or hedge funds are buying it as digital gold. And also retirement funds are also buying it as digital gold, as a hedge against the inflationary US dollar. And they're going to print a couple trillion more dollars within the next couple of weeks, as they have. They're on the cusp of approving a potential second stimulus package, which is also going to, I saw an article yesterday, I'm not even joking, it was talking about how the US printing almost $7 trillion over the last 3 months will not result in inflation of the US dollar. I couldn't have rolled my eyes even. I rolled them to the back of my head, and I lost vision for about a good 30 minutes. It was just absolutely ridiculous. The entire point being, please, by all means, I'll add this to the list of, what's the name of that website? There's a website where it shows every time that Bitcoin has died, air quotes. This has happened tens of thousands of times. People always create articles talking about that Bitcoin is going to be usurped. Bitcoin is going to be passed by. Bitcoin will be passed by another coin when every institution who is buying up 19,000 Bitcoin, and the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ announced that they're also buying this coin as well. Then and only then will it happen. If at some point every bank in Germany, every Swiss bank, and the 7 other stock exchanges around the world, and all the other rich family offices and in retirement funds announced that they were also going to be buying huge amounts of XRP, or trying to absorb the entire supply of XRP, or they were only focusing on Ethereum. Imagine all of those companies and institutions announcing that they were only going to be focusing on Litecoin and that they were selling their Bitcoin. That is a huge indicator. It has nothing to do with how slow Bitcoin is. We know that Bitcoin's slow. I'm not even going to continue on with this. Anyway, there were actual multiple articles about this. This person was not the only one to mention this during this week, that Bitcoin is going to fall down in rankings. No. Oh, and also another thing. Where's that chart? Bitcoin's dominance falls every time. Bitcoin's dominance falls every time. I will say it another time. Bitcoin's dominance falls every time we have an altcoin rally that leads us into a mega bull market. Every single time. In 2017, I believe Bitcoin's dominance was 75+% of the market. By the end of the year, it was at 40%. Because when Bitcoin goes up by 10%, altcoins go up by 30%. That's how the market works, and that's how it's going to be for a very long time until Bitcoin's price is nearing 7 figures and has a very stable price point. Just how it works. Bitcoin's dominance, I think at the beginning of this year, Bitcoin's dominance was 80%. It happens every single time. It happens every single time. It happens every single time. Let's move on. Next up, also in mega popular news, and I mean like hyper popular news, the long-awaited Ethereum 2.0 network upgrade has taken one step closer to launch, with a preliminary date announced for the final planned public testnet. The platform's launch coordinator, Danny Ryan, shared the news on the testnet's discussion board on Discord. He said, after discussions with client teams, the next multi-client testnet mainnet config, including min validator numbers, will have a min genesis time of the 4th of August. Further details would be made public in a couple of days, the Ethereum developer added. Phase 0 of Ethereum 2.0 has been running on various testnets since the Genesis block was created for the Beacon chain in April. Phase 0 is the first stage of the long-awaited upgrade to proof of stake and will dramatically increase transaction speeds. Instead of current proof of work, yada yada, ETH 2.0, minimum 32 ETH to stake, running a node. Wonderful. This news is incredibly popular because Ethereum is finally moving from their own testnet to a public testnet. Do I have extra optimism? Nope, still as low as it was before, because we're probably not going to be getting Ethereum 2.0 Phase 0 anytime this year. It's probably going to happen sometime next year, and we will have this discussion once again on the 3rd of January. Very exact date. 3rd of January 2021, because that is the time that we received from other Ethereum developers who said that that is when we are finally going to receive the upgrade for Ethereum 2.0 Phase 0. However, at the end of last year, that is the exact same date that we received for this year when we would have Ethereum 2.0 launching. It's all starting to make sense right now. Anyway, Ethereum is actually a coin that I could see being usurped. I don't think Bitcoin, unless the future is wild and ridiculous over the next 5 years, I don't see Bitcoin moving out of its current position. However, all the stuff happening with Ethereum, I could definitely see Ethereum moving to the number 3rd or number 4 spot. I think at that point, that would probably, you want to know the most realistic answer I have for you? If there was ever a moment where XRP started rising, crazy bull market, boom, 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 everything's going crazy. XRP starts looking like it's getting near Ethereum. I wouldn't be shocked if the very next day we had news that the testnet was over and that Ethereum 2.0 was finally going to launch. They realize how much money is actually sitting on their shoulders with this, and it's not about the decentralization or any other crap like that anymore. It's just about money. These projects are solely about trying to make themselves billionaires and or creating the world's first trillionaires, what have you, so on and so forth. The amount of money that is locked up inside of Ethereum and the amount of government support in its own ways that they've been getting from multiple governments, or I can only imagine the actual money that's flowing around Ethereum right now. If that was ever compromised in any sort of way, they would release this immediately. I mean, unless they really just are dragging people along, but I feel like I feel like we need something that would actually, the phrase is in light of fire under them. Like, imagine if EOS, Cardano, and Chainlink kept on like really rising in price, like boom, rising in price. And it got to the point where they were maybe 15, 5, 10% away in price from Ethereum 2.0. We would hear by October that Ethereum 2.0 is going to launch, because that is the only way to actually keep the price afloat. But the fact that they've been resting at number 2 and nothing at the moment looks like it's going to overtake them, not even Tether, they're kind of just sitting pretty, and they know that they have time. If they didn't have that time anymore, we'd get that news very, very quick. So as it stands, to end this thought, the public testnet or something testnet, public testnet launching on the 4th of August. I guess that time frame has also been moved up as well. We'll see if we get any kind of news around October from Vitalik and friends, because they all had announced before that was the actual time frame for Ethereum 2.0. But now they're like, oh no, we gotta wait till next year. And then by the time we get to December, we're probably going to get news that it's going to be backtracked again to March. I'm assuming we probably won't get Ethereum 2.0 until July of next year. Don't know why. Just in my head, somewhere around that time frame seems completely correct, and that'll still be phase 0. At that point, in a free moving, very insane market, I assume Ethereum will have moved down in ranking. No coin in particular that I'm actually rooting for. I wouldn't mind it at this point. I told you all this last year as well when we were discussing the actual non-upgrades of Ethereum. I wouldn't mind, I would not mind Tron. I wouldn't care if it was Cardano. I wouldn't even care if Chainlink or some other coin became the number 2 coin at this point, because it's just you can't keep saying that you're going to upgrade every year. You give people the same exact news and then you don't actually upgrade. Oh, also on that news, aren't we about 7 days away from Cardano hard forking? Or is it 4 days? It's soon. I know it's soon. I haven't seen it in the news at all. No news about it, no hype, no nothing. We are either 4 days or 7 days away. I don't remember the exact number of days, but it's supposed to happen sometime this month, which is rapidly ending soon, that we are supposed to get the hard fork for Shelly. And then the beginning of August. Oh, maybe that's why they chose this time frame as well, for the beginning of August as well. Beginning of August is when we will get staking on Cardano. We are, 2 to 3 weeks away from the completion of Shelly? Don't fail us. And to finish things off, Russia has dropped plans to criminalize Bitcoin transactions. For now, according to local media reports. The Digital Financial Assets Bill, or DFA, due to be read for the second time in the Russian Parliament or State Duma on the 21st of July, I guess it's already happened then, there we go, has removed references to administrative and criminal liability for dealing in Bitcoin. A third and final reading will establish it as law. Remove references to administrative and criminal liability. So I assume this means that there are probably a lot of banks who have shown interest in dealing in Bitcoin, and or a number of very wealthy individuals within the country who also hold political positions have probably announced that they hold Bitcoin as well. And if at some point someone realized that they themselves were holding Bitcoin and had dealt in Bitcoin, they'd be criminally liable. So I assume that's why that's been taken out of the actual law. They said there will be no liability in the law. Anatoly Aksakov, head of the Parliament's Financial Markets Committee, told local news reports. Aksakov, who is sponsoring the draft law, said the idea to penalize Bitcoin investors with fines and jail terms had been set aside for the time being, because I'm certain you don't have the news that we even had last year from one of the economists. Was it even this guy who works inside of the actual Russian parliament? He said that Russia was buying Bitcoin. They were allocating a couple $1 million to buy up some Bitcoin. So one can only assume that they're probably, if you have a parliament with at least 150 people inside of it, there's probably at least 3 other people who have also gotten into the Bitcoin game. They've removed everything. There's only a link that the regulation of digital currency will be determined in another law. I don't have to read anymore. This is all complete nonsense as well. They've been going back and forth since 2017. This has been it's like a mirrored image of the US. They keep putting proposals forward. They just have tons of discussions, but nothing has really come out of it, if you will. The initial proposal was that anyone touching crypto would be jailed for, was it like 5 years or something? Absolutely. Oh, here we go. Earlier version would have fines of $7,000 or 7 years in jail for people buying Bitcoin with cash. Like what? Like what world are you? Anyway, so the point is, apparently it's been removed. I assume that it has to do with, this isn't for the good of the people. This law wasn't changed or made cleaner to help people within the actual country become rich. That's not how it's not how governments work. So this was probably done for the benefit of people actually inside the parliament or other really rich people who have been trying to get into this or have been actually dealing in it for the last couple of years, and they came forward and they were like, you can't do that because we'll get in trouble as well. Anyway, that's that news. Still no news from India, which we should have also had at this point. Remember last year and the year before that and the beginning of this year that we would have had by March and then by spring and then by summer type of news and concrete information as to exactly what was going to happen with cryptocurrencies within India. Still don't have it. Probably not going to have it for a while because that's how they work. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Stoyer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Moher Maroney, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, nope, wrong, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Damian Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Wish III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangialavorti, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Skips Leg Day, Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Arfmedic17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your Patreon support. Thank you to everyone who is a supporter of the channel. Thank you to everyone who is a clicker of affiliate links. And just thank you all in general. At the moment, the market looks ridiculous. Bitcoin is currently at $9,338 US. It is up, down. Here's the actual up that we had last night. There was a swift movement down. Bitcoin has been trending downwards for the last 24 hours. And it's just not really making a lot of sense. We are, to be fair, $200 above where we were yesterday, which is great. I don't think this momentum will hold up. I think markets are still being suppressed in whichever way that they might be suppressed at the moment. A lot of the coins are constantly following Bitcoin, trying to figure out where Bitcoin is going to go to see if they can also move. I had hoped at this point that in 2020 we would have seen some type of decoupling of these coins from Bitcoin's price, but the magnetic force is far too strong. Tezos is up by 4%. Neo is up by 6%. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Maker is up by 6%. Ample Fourth is still up in price. Absolutely wonderful on $10 million volume. That sure makes a lot of sense. Algor is up by 18%. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Elrond Network is up by 30%. Sure makes a lot of sense as well. Yeah, the market's kind of all over the place. I don't think we're going to get anything definitive. I'm still waiting for the 5th. That is the end of the moratorium date. I am trying to have actual faith in logic that when we get news that 25 million people have been evicted from their homes within the states, that the stock market will react appropriately, because that's just how things should be. And consequently, subsequently, something equently, I'm actually hoping, not that I'm hoping that Bitcoin falls in tandem, but I'm hoping for some type of a movement. We keep getting news that Bitcoin has to move, that Bitcoin's in a tight trading range, and as long as we remain within this range in some sort of way, Bitcoin will not be able to perform properly, and as it can't perform properly, all the other altcoins are kind of all stuck in this weird movement as well until something pops up, but then eventually this also comes back down as well because there's no real momentum with $11 million of trading volume. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it's absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. I mean, if something crazy happens today, I'll of course report it. But as of right now, why did I say that? That was really weird. Thank you all once again for watching and listening, and I will most certainly, be talking to you all soon. See you.